In 2022, I was the first Aboriginal West Australian woman to do a feature film. And that was a huge, amazing honour, responsibility, but also like, wow, it's 2022, what's happened in the meantime?
And what is Sweet As about?
So Sweet As is about me. No. No. Well, actually, it's inspired by a true journey that I went on as a young teen. But our story, Sweet As, follows Mara, a 16-year-old Mara, who goes on a road trip, photo safari for at-risk teens, and kind of finds her true self on the road less travelled, I suppose.
Oh, you're lucky you got a good uncle. He worked a small miracle to get you on the bus.
Yeah, so lucky.
She's actually a really good kid. We've only caught her shoplifting one time.
And when did the idea for this film first come about?
So Liz Kearney, who's my producer, but also one of my best friends, we did the turning together. And we'd actually worked on so many other things over the last 20 plus years, but we kind of knew that we wanted to do my first feature together. I wanted to go on that journey with her. And so we were going, oh, what are we going to do? What's the story? Trying to find the right one. And then one day she rang and she's like, what a bloody story, that yarn you told me about going on a photo safari when you were 14. And I was like, yeah, that's a pretty cool story, isn't it? So we kind of delved into that and came up with the idea for, inspiring the story around this trip I went on as a kid.
Why do dingoes howl with their eyes closed? Try it.
Why did you want to tell this story? Like, what is it about this story that really stuck with you throughout that time?
I think what the beautiful thing about it was that it gave me an opportunity to speak about a lived experience of mine that is shared by my mob. So I never speak on behalf of my mob, but I share an experience that I know that we've all gone through. And I was really excited about the idea of showing a young Indigenous protagonist that I don't really see much on screen, and finally having the opportunity to use my voice as the key creative, which in past roles I never got that opportunity, and there weren't that many Indigenous writers or directors actually. And so all of that compounded with wanting to tell stories that are important to me, get messages across that are important to me. Hopefully, I always am a strong believer that if there's just one person that's in the audience that this story helps, then that's one person. That's brilliant. That's brilliant for me. I'm really proud of that one person being helped.
The location of the film is so important to this story. Can you talk about where you filmed and its significance to you?
Yeah. So on the actual trip when I was 14, we went from Port Adelaide to Perth, but everywhere in between. River, desert, sea, everything. It was the most extraordinary, life-changing journey, and I wanted to celebrate part of that. And for me, it's absolutely the Pilbara. I felt that I had more permission to be there on that country, shooting there. That was important for me. I knew that the mob know my family. We started chatting with the local TOs really early, years before. So we weren't just bulldozing in like 6 months before shoot saying, hey, we want to go to this really sacred spot. You don't know me, but I want to shoot there. It was a really long, really respectful process, because I understand how, you need to give the elders time to talk, make a decision, change their mind if they need to, and really come around full circle, proper way. And so, that's why we were the first film crew to ever be allowed to shoot in Karajini. So a feature film, that is. So, and that was a long, hard, and rightfully so, hard process, because it needs to be done the right way. And I feel very honoured to be given permission to shoot there in Karajini. and all through beautiful Pilbara country, all through Port Hedland, some around Karratha and that. So, yeah.
Robert, and make sure you get your sweat on.
Why you sweat?
So ancestors will recognize you.
What do you hope audiences take away from watching Sweeters?
Well, I hope that they take away that, firstly, I think let kids be kids. Don't let the adult worries of the world compound their journey to becoming a young adult. Let that time manifest itself naturally. So I hope everybody kind of finds their own little bit of sweet as in the film.